Hey everybody, welcome to the Brute Neighbors podcast, the show where we talk about fucking everything. I'm Philip, and this is
Your boy Seth.
that is your boy Seth, right there.
Yeah,
There he is.
it's
Today
me.
we're going to be talking about three brand new subjects in our quest to talk about everything. We're going to be talking about ramen. We're going to be talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender, the TV show.
Ow.
Ooh. And a mystery thing that Seth has actually hopefully prepared so we don't have the disaster that I was responsible for last week. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
Philip's not even ready. Do not
It's gonna
worry,
be way
my
worse. He's gonna show me like
children.
something terrible as penance for last week.
The entire script of the B movie.
Oh, that's fine. That's art.
Touche.
Can we talk about the B movie? Why haven't we talked about the B movie yet? Missed opportunity, man.
That's next week.
That's next week. The B movie. I actually legit wrote a joke essay on the B movie once, like just for fun. I
You
didn't
didn't
turn
write
it
a
in anywhere.
serious essay on the B movie?
Oh, it was very serious, but I did it as a joke. But I put a lot of effort into it. I did this
Ooh.
whole this whole page. It was only like a page, so essay's kind of a stretch. But this whole page of like how the B movie was comedic excellence and art. It was great.
Because it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What started as a joke became reality very quickly. But this is not the B movie podcast. This is the Brute Neighbors podcast, and we're talking about ramen. Seth, what are your thoughts on ramen?
The B movie podcast coming to our viewers very soon.
Yeah, that's separate side project.
Yes.
We'll have both concurrently.
But ramen, yeah. So I remember the first time I ever had ramen. I grew up eating a lot of chicken noodle soup. I was a huge chicken noodle soup guy. But I've never liked meat. I've never really liked the texture, so I would pretty much just kind of spoon out the chicken chunks and eat the noodles and broth. I was over at my cousin's house one time when I was maybe like 9 or 10, and I was talking about how much I liked chicken noodle soup but didn't like the chicken, and she's like, "Ooh, I got just the thing for you." She gets some chicken flavored top ramen out of the cabinet, makes it, and then I fell in love.
Oh,
Literally all I would eat for the next year after that, I would eat chicken noodle soup one day and ramen the next day.
that's so
And
many
like
noodles.
literally just every
Nothing
single
but
day.
noodles. Ayo, that's a
Yeah,
restaurant.
some might say I was eating oodles. So yeah, no, it was extremely unhealthy. I was definitely dying of sodium. My mother made me get blood work because of it, because she's like, we're my she wasn't gonna stop me from eating this every day, but she's like, I don't think it's healthy. We're gonna get you tested.
And then you were fine. And so she was like, "Fuck, there's nothing I can do." Let's see. I don't remember the first time I ate ramen because it's kind of just always been in my life.
Yeah.
It's especially like the super cheap packets you get for like 99 cents. It's great poor
Yeah.
person food. My family was poor, so we ate a lot of ramen. Our common dinners were either ramen or hamburger helper pretty much every fucking night. So I got burned out on both for a very long time. But like, because I loved ramen as a kid, but when you eat it all the time, it's just like, eh. But like, just like recently in the past 2 or 3 years, because like I didn't eat it in college. I stayed away from the broke college kid eating ramen trope because I was a
Yeah.
broke college kid my whole life. So once I actually got to college, I was like, let's eat something else.
Yeah.
Mix it
That
up.
I definitely stopped eating. I still ate it every once in a while, but it was a very rare occasion that I would eat ramen in college.
Yeah,
It
and
was
like
it was like I burnt myself out as a kid.
yeah, like and people would always give me ramen like for food. Like they'd be like, "Oh, here's some free ramen," because that's what college kids eat, right? I'm like, and ha ha
Yeah,
ha, and I'm like, thanks, and it just sat in my cabinet forever.
buy me real food.
I usually like when like I had friends over who were hungry, I'd be like, just eat my fucking ramen, get it out of here. But like just in the past like couple of years since I graduated college, like I've gotten back into ramen again, and like it's good. Like even like the cheap stuff you make, like it's hard to fuck up. It's hard to go wrong with it. It's still
Yeah,
it's not like the most amazing thing ever, but it's tasty. And then like have you ever been to like a legit like ramen restaurant?
I have.
There
Yeah.
that's some good shit.
Yeah, well, depends. I've definitely been to, like, I've had ramen at places. I had ramen over in Japan that like blew
Ooh,
my mind.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But like I've also been to ramen places over here in the States where like I'll be eating it and be like, honestly, I'd rather be eating the cheap stuff.
See, I mean, I've only been to a ramen restaurant like 2 or 3 times, but
Hmm.
every time I've gone has been really, really good. Like, it's very flavorful. It has all the
Yeah.
shit in it. Like, I usually get the ones that have like has like a fucking egg in it. It has a fucking like all this shit, and you
Yeah.
just and like it's usually in a giant bowl. So like I can eat a lot, but like I've never been able to finish it because they just come in
Oh
this
yeah.
like fucking tub, and it's delicious, but it's super filling because it's noodles. I definitely so uh I think we've briefly talked about this before, but I'm about to piss off all 3 of our listeners. Usually when I make ramen, like at home, like out of the packets, I don't like it as a soup. Like if it's at an actual ramen place, they know what they're doing, so the broth actually tastes good. But when I'm making it at home, I drain the broth and
Yeah,
just eat the
I, I,
noodles.
I don't get that. My sister does that too, and I'm just like the broth is part of my favorite part of it, and I know it's just flavoring mixed with water, but
It's like drinking flavored water, except instead of like strawberry preserves or whatever, it's fucking meat powder.
it's good. It's good stuff. Okay.
I'm not a big soup guy in general. I think we've briefly touched
Mm,
upon this in a past podcast, but I'm not a big soup guy. I'll eat it if someone makes me soup. I'll eat it, but like it's just not really my thing. Not a big soup guy. Not a I was never big on chicken noodle soup.
mm.
I was never big on just all that stuff. Like I don't really like soupy things. I like things to have some consistency and like solidity. Yeah, I don't know, just not a big soup guy. And then ramen, I just like, oh, I can make this not soup. Cool. So I
So,
did that.
so wait, how do you put the flavoring in?
Well,
You,
you still make it with water. Like
yeah.
you water,
So do you?
noodles, flavoring. You
Yeah.
let it sit so the flavoring can soak into the noodles, and
Hmm.
then you strain it. So
Hmm.
you definitely are losing some of the flavor. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like you let it sit, you let it keep cooking for a minute so it can really seep into the noodles, so you still get the
Hmm.
flavor, and then you strain it.
Gotcha.
Dude, okay, so I have done no fact checking on this. I have not tried this myself. I
Okay.
read somewhere like today or yesterday. I didn't click on the link, but I saw like as I was scrolling through on my phone, someone said something about making ramen with milk instead of water.
Nope. Nope.
I don't know what that would even be.
I'm not going to talk about this. I'm not going to have this conversation. The
You make mac
conversation
and cheese with
just
milk.
we just ended
You make mac
right
and cheese with
there.
milk.
We ended it
Well, how is it any different? It's still noodles.
right there.
It's still
Okay.
noodles.
So are you boiling it in the milk or are you adding it after?
I would assume it'd have to be after, right? Because if you boil
Yeah.
milk, it's gonna be gross.
Yeah.
So like I assume it'd have to be. But then like what would you do? Because like it works for mac and cheese because it like absorbs the powder and everything. Unless like you
Yeah.
boil the noodle. The only thing I can think of is if you boil it in water, you drain or strain it, put it back in the pot, and like at this point you haven't put the powder in. Then you put in the powder and then some milk.
Well,
But
shit. At that point, we might as well just you throw some ketchup in there. Give it a little zing. You know my freshman year roommate used to do that.
yeah, you told me.
But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fucking why ketchup and ramen.
he had no sort of understanding of he'd had his mother make every single meal for him uh, for the first 18 years of his life. So when he finally had to make meals for himself, he microwaved the noodles, which is fine, but it's not my preferred method.
I'd rather
And
use
then
hot. Yeah.
to give it, but and that's not super strange. But then he he would put ketchup in it and mix it in there to give it flavor, and I'm like, what the heck is wrong with you?
That's I don't know. I mean, there's some people who will put ketchup on anything. I've never understood. I'll be real. I'm not a big ketchup guy, honestly. I'll eat it with fries. I'll eat it. A hot dog is good, or maybe a little bit on a burger. But
Hmm.
like, there's people who will put ketchup on fucking anything, like ketchup and mac and cheese, ketchup and eggs. But I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a huge ketchup guy, but there's things that ketchup works well on, and there's things that you should never do with ketchup.
I don't know. Not a big ketchup guy. If I'm even like fries, like I'd rather do like a chili cheese fry or like a or like anything. Like I don't know. Like ketchup is fine, but it's just like
Strong,
very salty.
strongly disagree there, but this ain't the ketchup podcast.
Welcome to the Ketchup Podcast.
It's time for y'all to. If you're just joining us now, it's time to catch up and.
I hate you. Um, we'll,
Um,
we'll do ketchup another week.
yeah, yeah. Top ramen or Merichan?
Either one. I have
Okay.
no real preference, honestly.
Yeah,
I want to say Marichan is in my cabinet right now. I want to say that's what I've been
yeah.
eating recently. Which are the ones that are in like the colored packets that are just like the block of ramen? That's Marichan, right?
Both of them.
Do
But
both do that?
yeah, but they're pretty much identical. The difference being that there's just like a slight difference in flavor
Mm-hmm.
between the two. Pretty
Uh,
much that's
so you're making a packet of ramen. What's your go-to flavor?
chicken every single day. Okay, so the only other really flavor I can think of that I've had is beef, and beef is okay,
I feel like
but
beef
it's
gets
not.
more hate than it deserves. Beef's
It
solid.
definitely. Well, I definitely really didn't like it when I was a kid, but as I've gotten older, I can appreciate it more.
See, I'm not a big. I've been saying this phrase a lot tonight. Apparently, I'm not big on a lot of things, but I'm not a big chicken guy.
Mm,
In general. So like and like the chicken flavored ramen, I mean it isn't chicken, so like it's fine.
yeah.
Like it does taste good, but I think just the word chicken, I'm just like, ugh, because I just chicken is it's okay. Uh, but like I had pork ramen for the first time a couple weeks ago, and it was surprisingly really good.
Mm,
I
I
was
think I'm
surprised.
gonna I'm gonna stick away from it.
It was
When I
good.
was
I enjoyed it.
when I was over in, I think it was Ireland, I had I had they had sold this curry flavor, and it was like, you know how chicken's pretty much the biggest flavor over here.
Yeah.
Well, over there they had chicken pretty prominently featured, and then they had the curry flavor really prominently featured too, and that was kind of the vegetarian
Mm,
alternative of like with the ramen.
yeah.
And I tried it. It was pretty good. It was a lot hotter than I was expecting it to be, but
It was
then again,
curry.
it's curry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I mean that's kind of that's something else I kind of want to talk about is I've been to a couple countries in the past few years with studying abroad, like Ireland, France, Britain, Canada,
Jesus.
and I've been able to find ramen in I've bought packages of ramen in each of those countries just
Universal
to kind
food.
of, well, yeah, just to kind of like try it, and like it it, it's pretty standard everywhere you go, and it brings the world together, you
Yeah,
know.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Nothing brings people together like a good old bowl of ramen.
Roll Tide.
Roll? No, I'll give you a roll. I'm not gonna give you both. I'll give you a roll. That's half of one.
Roll.
Roll, just roll. That's it.
Roll.
Roll over. Good boy.
I definitely prefer top ramen. I ate Maruchan for the like only Maruchan for the longest time. That was what I ate, and I ate one packet of top ramen, I could notice the distinct difference in flavor, and I was like, okay, I definitely prefer this.
Okay. Yeah, I've gone through such like droughts of ramen that like I couldn't tell
Yeah.
you the
Well, and
difference between
I
either
mean,
one.
it yeah, it really is very. like
Nuance.
negligible.
Some subtlety that you
I'm
gotta look
I'm
for.
something of a ramen connoisseur.
Yes, you with your packaged ramen that you can easily microwave, even if you don't, you can.
You can. Yeah, I'm not.
It really doesn't really make any. I feel like it doesn't
I
affect the flavor much at
It
all.
doesn't affect the flavor. It affects the texture of the
That's
noodle.
fair. Yeah.
And the cup of ramen, the cup of soup, that's like a completely different
Yeah.
experience. It's I can jive with it when I'm on trips and stuff, but I will definitely choose the packet ramen over
Yeah, I
the
got
cup of
burned
soup.
out on the cup ramen. Like
Yeah.
it's not good.
No,
Honestly, I'm
it's
gonna be
not.
real. It's
Nope.
also you're not even supposed to microwave it.
No, you you
Everyone
you
does, but you
boil
shouldn't.
you boil the water and you put it in
Yeah,
there.
but no one does that.
Yeah.
Literally, no one. We all have cancer because of it, but like no one does that. Like,
Yeah.
because what's the point in putting it? Like, if you still have to fucking boil water, why wouldn't you just put it in the fucking pot?
Yeah.
Like, it's no point. It's just a waste of styrofoam or whatever the fuck it's made out of.
Yep.
Like, it's stupid. If you like cup ramen, you're
You're
wrong.
stupid.
I was trying to be a little nicer, but
I'm not.
oh, it's just like I don't, and like it's more expensive than the packet too, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, if
But they're
you're
both
ever
cheap.
getting
It's ramen,
if you're
but
if you're ever getting cup of soup, it's usually from like a convenience store where it's
yeah,
it's going to be a little bit more expensive anyway.
like if you do it the proper way, that where you're less likely to get cancer from it, then there's no difference than just making it in the pot. Like you're still gonna have to. I mean, I guess you might not have to wash the pot if you just boiled water in it, but like it's like a minute of your time to wash a fucking pot.
Or well, you could just put it in a
What? What are you trying to think of?
well, you could put it in a microwave safe cup, the water, and microwave that, and then pour it in.
I guess you can boil water in a microwave. Can't right?
Yeah,
I
you can. Yeah.
how well? How long would you have to? Yeah, I feel like it'd have to be a pretty long time, right?
No, I'd say maybe just a minute.
Really? I guess if
Mm,
it's just water in there, then yeah, it wouldn't be.
yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
mm,
Just make it in a fucking pot. Or if you're gonna do microwave ramen, just like do the packet, put it in the bowl, and do the
boom.
whole thing in the microwave. Like
Yeah.
don't get cup ramen. Apparently,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
very anti. We've decided we're an anti-cup ramen
Well,
podcast. I'm
hey,
sorry.
yeah. No, if you make cup ramen, actually no. If you microwave ramen, I'm gonna take it a
Ah,
step
no, you can
further.
microwave
No,
ramen.
if you
You can
microwave
microwave ramen.
ramen, you're wrong.
We almost had a unified stance here, Seth. We almost had one. We're so
Well, no, I'm drawing my line in the sand. This
if
is my
you just don't get the cup ramen. Get the packet. Do it. It's
if
cheaper. It's the same fucking thing. Probably better, honestly. I think it tastes better.
yeah.
We are firmly anti-cup ramen on this podcast.
All right. I mean, I'm pro ramen.
Yeah, I'm pro ramen. Like I
Yeah.
definitely, you get burned out on it after a while
Yeah.
because like
And
it's kind of a necessity food for a lot
I
of people.
definitely don't recommend anyone using it as their main source of nutrition. Um,
Are you calling me out, Seth?
I'm referring to no one in particular,
Hey,
no
work.
one else in
I got food from my
the
work today, so
podcast.
I actually had meat
Particular.
and tiny amount of lettuce inside of me
Oh,
today.
wow, a green thing.
A single green thing,
Proud.
and I had fries.
Nice. Good.
So yeah, pro ramen. Ramen's good. Unless it's cup ramen.
Ramen's good unless it's bad. Heard it here first.
The more you know. It's an educational podcast.
the it's good when your podcast has a lesson at the end.
Yeah, yeah, a moral, a nice moral to the story. The moral is, fuck you, Cup Ramen.
Really,
One of our
we're really,
listeners,
really roasting
one of our
Cup
listeners
Ramen.
is a we have one diehard fan, and they're the owner of the Cup Ramen company, and they were like, these guys are really funny. I'm gonna give them a sponsorship, see if they want to make some money. And then they hear this and be like,
Oh.
fuck these guys, man. Fuck Cup Ramen. Fuck you.
Dang it, we're gonna lose another subscriber.
Another one. Hey, we got 2 today.
We got 2
We're
today?
up to 8 again.
What?
I may have bullied 2 people into subscribing, and they probably aren't actually going to listen, but they subscribed.
Oh, good, yes.
Hey, if you bully people, sometimes your subscriber count will go up.
Hey,
Just like
yeah.
we're bullying Cup Ramen right now. And suddenly we're going to have like 30 subscribers.
So they are going to give us a sponsorship next episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how,
if you want to make it big, you have to take controversial stances.
I mean, honestly, that's like, I'm probably going to cut this part out. That's how Rush Limbaugh got famous. Just being an asshole for 40 years.
Ayo.
That dickhead's rich, and we're fucking poor talking about Cup Ramen. I might keep that in. You know what? Fuck Rush Limbaugh. I might keep that in. Fuck it.
You don't hear him talking about Cup Ramen.
Yeah, we talk
You
about
know
the
what?
real issue.
I bet Rush Limbaugh's pro Cup Ramen.
I think you're right. I bet that's all he fucking
Hot
eats.
take. That's all he eats.
That's all he eats is Cup Ramen.
That's why he's so angry all the time.
I think that's just because he's in it.
Well,
now I gotta cut some of it because YouTube's not gonna like that. But if you suddenly heard silence on the podcast, I've said some mean things. I don't apologize, but
Philip's a mean person.
It's true.
He's not a wrong. Well, he's often a wrong person.
Not
he wasn't
here,
a
though.
Person here.
He's mean.
Yes.
Oh man, we lost another. We had a Rush Limbaugh fan. Now they're gone too. Top Ramen, not Top Ramen, Cup Ramen, Rush Limbaugh. We're losing them like flies.
Woof.
So Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
We always do this. We always have this. What is this? Oh, dude! Apparently, it's super easy to get our podcast on Spotify.
Sweet. Yeah. Let's do it.
I think I'll have to upload it somewhere else because it needs like an RSS feed. So I think I'll have to upload it to like SoundCloud or something.
Boom.
We can be Spotify famous.
I'm about it. We're gonna be SoundCloud. Check out our SoundCloud.
Check out our SoundCloud, guys.
The Brute Neighbors.
I'm gonna start dropping raps too.
That's what our side hustle is gonna be. That's what else we're posting on our channel.
I actually have been. I have a couple of ideas that
for
teaser.
Raps.
Yes, for raps. I have a couple of video ideas that I might try and bust out soon. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Find out next time, audience and Seth, because I'm probably not going to tell him either. I'm just going to put it up, and he's like, "What the fuck have you done?"
I'm gonna cry.
One of the weeks, my mystery subject is just going to be a video on our channel. Because he hasn't seen it, so I upload it. I upload it while we're talking on the podcast.
What is this?
It's our content. We made this. So Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Amazing show. I'm just start.
Yes. It like, wow. One of honestly, I would say one of the best shows ever made. I'm gonna go start off with a strong stance here.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. Not even just best animated show, like just a show. Like there's only a handful of shows that I can say even come close to how much I like Avatar.
Yeah.
Like the only ones that pop into my head would be like Gargoyles, but even that kind of had a decrease in quality towards the end. Black Sails is really good. There's a couple, but like pretty much all of them I can find something wrong with.
Mm-hmm.
Avatar is just about as close to a perfect show as you can get, especially for lasting 3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely weak points, but like there's nothing in Avatar that I can ever say I thought was bad.
Yeah,
I never
there's episodes that are weaker, but only by comparison to how amazing the rest of the show is.
I never went away from an episode being like, that was trash.
Yeah, the closest is probably The Divide.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Divide is
Well,
kind
there's a
of
couple of book one episodes that
they're
I
still getting their
enjoy,
footing a little bit.
but that is definitely that I would say is the only one that I came away with where I was like, I downright was like, I was not engaged in
Yeah,
this.
it's the like I never actually do skip it, but first off,
Yeah.
I rewatch the show like at least once a year. I've
Hmm.
seen the whole show in its entirety at least. I've got to be closer. I have hit double digits by this point. It's
Sheesh.
I love the show. It's fantastic. I always almost skip the Divide when I get to it. I'm like, should I
Yeah.
just skip it? Fuck it, and I'll play it, and I'll just like draw or something while the episode's going on. But I do like though that like they even make fun of it. Like they recognize that no one liked the Divide, like in the play episode
Yeah.
where like, oh, the Divide. Let's just go over it. It's a very self-aware show, but not in a
Oh
distracting
yeah.
way.
Well, and I mean that's I don't know if it was you I was talking about this with the other day, but like just how perfect the Ember Island Players is as a recap of the show before the finale.
Oh yeah,
Like what other show is able to do something like that so masterfully where it doesn't feel like a recap at all? It
yeah.
feels like a story in and of itself.
And because it is, and
Yeah.
and there is still even you get characters interacting with one another still. Like you have some of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Katara Aang drama. By the way, spoilers for Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's on Netflix. Go fucking watch it. It's great. And like yeah, you get some of the interactions. You get it's just good. It's just good. And then like it's a great comedy episode, but then also has like it really kind of hits you like in the end when like they're like there's still one more scene of the play left, but we're all caught up. And then it's like the Fire Lord killing them all, and they're like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Well, yeah, and that's something that's kind of funny about that episode is it, it, I mean, it's a rather progressive take for the Fire Nation. Like it doesn't really portray Team Avatar as like evil as you'd expect from Fire Nation propaganda. It it's it it's like this director's sort of take on like, oh, I'm giving a genuine look at Team Avatar, but of
Yeah,
course because this is propaganda, we're still gonna kill him off at the end.
yeah, like and then yeah, they still get and still Fire Lord Ozai is the best, yada yada.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
like it's like a yeah, I like the idea of this artsy director in this world, just like
yeah.
being like, I'm gonna give the real unbiased story, and like I'll be getting tons of controversy across the Fire Nation, like, oh, how could he, in a
How
positive
could he?
light?
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. It's interesting to think about the world, and I think that's a testament to how great the show is that you can
Well,
imagine very vividly what that would be like because the world is so fleshed out. Like you can
and I mean,
imagine what that would be like.
yeah, we see stuff like that in our media. I don't have any specific examples, but like there's definitely stuff that's like, oh, I'm going to show a sort of controversial or unseen side of a story, and then it does, even if it's inaccurate, it gives a genuinely complex sort of story.
I feel like that's
And
what like stuff like
at the end, it still defers to the side of authority. It says, "Oh, but like the people who are in charge are still the good guys in the end."
yeah. I'm trying to think because I've definitely seen movies like that. My
Yeah.
first instinct is to say like Dances with Wolves almost, but not quite. But
But I mean that's kind of just I mean the show does such a good job at at at, at being a reflection of the real world. Like it shows a very complex and dynamic world, and it deals with so many real world issues. I mean, genocide, corruption, uh, diversity, all of these, ableism, just all of these different things.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, it's an impressive show. It's amazing just how fleshed out this world, and it's still like I don't like a lot of people say kids show as a like negative, but like it's still like kids can and do
yeah,
and should watch it. Like I watched it when I was like 8 as it
yeah, yeah,
aired, and like even though like it was handling these super deep, difficult subject matters, but it never like it approached it in such a way that it never diminished how heavy these things were, but still
yeah.
presented it in a way that an 8-year-old could at least kind of grasp and be like, oh, that is bad, but not like, okay,
Yeah.
how are they gonna
Well,
fight this? Okay, and like kind of like make sense of it in your little 8-year-old head.
it's definitely very consumable for a child. So, something I was comparing it to recently was Treasure Island, like the book Treasure Island,
Hmm.
where it's often thought of as a children's media because the main character is a child and like it's told from a child's point of view,
Hmm.
but like it never for that it never sacrifices the content or like seriousness of what is being told. Like it never feels kitschy.
Yeah, they never water it down or dumb it down for kids.
Yeah,
And that's the thing is a lot of shows like try to like they act like kids are fucking stupid. They're not. They can
yeah,
grasp these concepts. You just have to present it in a way that they can comprehend. And
oh yeah,
Avatar did that.
yeah,
They
yeah,
have very fun, likable characters, often doing goofy hijinks, but they still have these serious things they have to deal with. And they fit comedy very expertly into it to make it sure it's not always heavy and down, but
hmm,
like it never shies away from the like. I mean, the third fucking episode, they show a fucking corpse. They show the fucking skeleton of
Gyatso,
Gyatso. There it is.
yeah,
And the third episode,
yep,
the third fucking episode, like they went all out, but it never like even when I saw that as a kid, I was like, fuck, that's a dead body. I didn't say fuck because I was 8,
you
but
you said fuck
I
6 times in the last 2 sentences.
have you
uh,
talked to me? Have you heard me? You've read my
well,
screenplays.
well, podcast. We've given up our sort of PG-13.
Were we ever PG-13? Honestly, that was kind of the goal originally. I think we're a little past that, but fuck, man, it's
You know,
it's just
fucking right, man. It really
it's just really just fucking fuck, man, fuck.
it fucks with you different.
But anyways, yeah, it's not afraid to tackle serious things, and the beautiful thing I love about the show is just how in depth every single character is. Like
Yeah,
every single character has so much growth, including
yeah, yeah.
what in any other show would just be the goofy animal sidekicks. Like
Hmm.
Appa and Momo have character growth and development,
Yeah.
like a
Oh
lot.
yeah. I like that you're right. That is just such a testament to the show. Just, I mean, how much depth you get out of the pets,
Hmm.
out of the animal companions.
Yeah, like what other show does that? Like I mean, like
Mhm,
they'll maybe like kill off the side or make you think the animal died as a cheap feel sad, but like
mhm.
very few shows, if any, just put the time and energy into making you fall in love with these characters, not just because they're cute, but
Well,
because they have actual personalities and like go through shit. Like when Appa's Lost Days,
mhm.
like
Oh yeah.
holy shit, or even Momo's side arc in Tales of Ba Sing Se,
Yep.
and like when like you see Momo is morbidly like this flying lemur is morbidly depressed because his best friend has been taken.
I mean, we also gotta talk about just what the show does with villains.
Ooh.
There is no other children's show that does as well and incredible with their villains as Avatar does. And
Hmm.
there's not a lot of shows in general, I can tell you, that just does such incredible work with them.
Oh, I
I'm
especially with how many villains there are. Like a
Yeah.
show might have one good villain. Like Gargoyles has Xanatos, amazing villain, but the rest of the
Mm,
villains, like there's some good ones, but like they put most of their effort into that one, and the same can be said for a lot of different shows. But the fact
mhm,
that like every single villain has a lot of depth and complexity. Like probably the most
mhm.
shallow would probably be Zhao,
Yeah.
but even then, like he still has some depth to him, and like honestly, I just think he's like he has one of the most menacing moments in the entire show. Like he literally kills the moon, even
Mhm.
though it's for a few minutes. Like he literally like the fucking sky goes red. He's like I am the moon slayer. Like
Well,
that's badass.
and I mean, it's easy to forget that Zhao is only in there for one season
Yeah,
because he is so memorable, even as just like kind of a side villain.
yeah.
Um,
Like he was a fun character. Like definitely
yeah,
didn't have anywhere near the depth of Zuko or Azula, but
no,
like he wasn't flat or static either.
yeah, yeah,
Like he still had very poignant moments. And I also love that like I love that they don't just forget about him after he dies either, at least not fully,
yeah.
because like not only do they occasionally mention him here and there, but like when they go to the library
Hmm.
and the entire Fire Nation section is destroyed, they're like fucking Zhao got here first.
Well, and that uh, that's something that I noticed upon my rewatch recently. Is I remember that Zhao was the one who came in and destroyed the library, but I didn't even pick up on the fact there's a book one episode where he's like, "Oh, I went to a library and
Yeah, he was
learned
talking
all
about
this
the Moon
stuff."
Spirit. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was telling Iroh. Yeah, because yeah, it's so well woven, and like even like
yeah,
and in the storm, like when you're learning how Zuko got a scar and all that, and how he got banished. Like Azula wasn't introduced until season two.
yeah. Hmm.
I don't even know if she was introduced in the first episode of season two or not, but either way, early season two.
I think well, she's at the end of the season finale of season one. She has one
Yeah, when
very
Zhao is like, "Go get your brother" or whatever.
well,
I
Ozai.
wrote, yeah, that's what I meant. Ozai, when he's like, yeah, your brother is a failure. Your
Yeah,
uncle is a traitor. That's Mark Hamill.
yeah,
That's Lord Ozai.
yeah. That I did not pick up on that until this rewatch.
Hmm. But yeah, but like even then, like so at the very end of season one, she gets a quick introduction. But like you see her in the crowd in the flashback scene of
Hmm.
Zuko and Ozai's Agni Kai. And like they thought the whole thing through. It was so well planned out and intricately woven.
Which
And
is really which I really appreciate because most shows when they do something like that, it's usually like a brand like they definitely knew who Azula was and that they wanted to, what they wanted to do with her from the beginning of the series. Most people, when they're introducing a character like Azula, it's some brand new concept they've come up with to kind of add some spice to the
yeah,
series.
it's like, oh, Zhao's gone. We need a new villain. Oh, let's bring
Yeah,
in this chick. Like,
yeah, yeah.
and she's mentioned like
Well,
when Zuko kidnaps Aang at the North Pole, he's like,
yeah,
yeah, my sister. She always had everything given to her. Like, we hadn't even. You have a sister? What? I'm like, oh,
yeah.
okay. Like, but like they led up to it. It's so well written, so well
Well,
paced.
and Azula is just such a fantastic villain
Hmm.
because she does not get she does not get the any sort of redemption, uh, 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 but she just gets so fleshed out. We feel like we understand exactly how and why Azula is the way she is,
Hmm.
like she's a main character, even though she is like it up until the very end, she is one of the most terrible people.
Yeah. Apparently, I know there's like comics that happen after the fact. I think I've heard that she might get some kind of like loose redemption after that, but I don't know. I haven't read
Hmm.
them. Um, Regardless, yeah, fantastic villain. Fucking scary too. Like
Oh
they're
yeah, she's
like
a 14-year-old girl who's terrifying.
yeah, and like there's not a lot of like, especially in kid shows. I feel like there's not a lot of really good female villains. I feel like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and that's true. Just she is such a strong female character.
yeah, she's fucking amazing. Like I love Azula. We need more female villains.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
straight.
yeah,
That's not even a joke. Like straight up, we do. Like I mean,
yeah.
like they. I'm gonna bring up Gargoyles again. Demona is a great villain in that too. Go watch Gargoyles too. But those are the only two like female villains I can think of that are like in kid shows, at least in cartoons, that are like really fleshed out, and like there's not a lot.
Yep. It's nice because I mean, what Azula kind of takes the sort of role of almost big bad in the series, and the only reason why she isn't the big bad of the series is because there's the bigger badder.
Yeah,
Um,
I kind of like that Ozai is
yeah,
such an important character, but you don't see a lot
well,
of him, but you also
it,
don't need to. He's just this
yeah,
overarching presence throughout the show.
you can. I mean, I you can definitely take that as like, oh man, I like we don't get a lot of Ozai, and so maybe he feels flat. But I mean, I would disagree with that. I think that is exactly what makes his character so powerful, so intimidating, is because we do not see him.
See, if we never got any Ozai, I could see the argument, but like we do get bits and pieces
Yeah,
scattered throughout the show, and even though it's only little bits here and there,
every
because
single
it's
thing is so
yeah,
emotionally charged that this person is the most terrifying, terrible person
hmm
that
like
we can
you know,
imagine.
even like you, I feel like I think the first time we actually see him is probably during the storm when Zuko's Agni Kai flashback, right?
Yeah, and I mean we do not see his face
So we like
until
never
season
see his
3.
face, yeah,
Um,
which is also powerful. I mean, really, they used a horror movie tactic with
yeah,
Ozai of you never fully show the monster until
yeah,
the climax. That's a horror movie tactic to build suspense, and it works perfectly for Ozai because he's a monster. He's
yeah,
a ruthless dictator who, I mean, not even like he straight up like wants to wipe out the planet at the end. Like he's like pretty much like because like the original goal of the I forget the whatever fire it would have been Sozin, I think,
yeah,
who started it all. Like he's like, oh, we're gonna take over everybody to make their lives better. Obviously, he's full of shit, but that was supposedly
yeah.
his goal. Ozai's just like, fucking kill them all, man. Just burn it all down.
Genocide.
Yeah, a fucking scary ass villain, dude. Great villains. We have to talk about Zuko. We haven't yet. We
Obviously.
have to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Maybe the best redemption arc.
Ever?
Yeah, or at the very
Yeah.
least, popular media for sure. Like I'm
I
sure
I
somebody could
cannot.
find something somewhere, but
Yeah.
like, but
I really I cannot think of a single redemption arc that be just like from the very first episode. He is established as like you think of him as like the main villain of the show, but just within the first 4 episodes, you see the redemption arc starting of, okay, this person is complex and he doesn't necessarily want to be in the position he's in either. And
especially like once
the
it,
next 50 episodes are devoted to him going from that scary villain we see in the first episode to one of the main character's best friends.
hmm and like it's such a great arc, and honestly, I think part of what makes it so good is how he struggles
Yeah,
so much because like he almost redeems himself several times during the show.
yeah, Yeah,
but
yeah.
always falls back into his old ways because of the pressure of his family, the pressure of his nation, his role.
Hmm.
And that's
Well,
very
and
realistic.
when he finally does make the final change, like the final switch over to joining Team Avatar, it is a decision that he is making on his own without any sort of outside pressure. He is finally, like, he has already gone through that song and
Hmm.
dance over and over again,
He,
and when he does it, he is sure in purpose.
and like like he even like tells Osa, he's like, I don't even know if they're gonna take me. They might just fucking kill me, but I don't care
Yeah,
anymore. I'm out of this. I'm going to try to help. If they let me, awesome. If not, then they'll do what they do.
yeah,
And like that's just you know how pure it is, that intention at that point where he like cause he gets what he wanted.
yep.
Uh or what he thought he wanted. But then he gets that wake up call of this didn't fulfill me. This isn't right. This is what I was told was how my life was supposed to be. But now that I have it, this is wrong. This isn't right. And it's just so beautiful. And
Now,
Iroh is such
I
an important part of that transformation too.
oh yeah. I mean, Iroh is by far my favorite character of the entire series. He is definitely the most compelling
Mhm.
character of the entire series. And I mean, when you watch it as a kid, you're just like, oh, he's the comic relief. He's the funny
Yeah,
guy.
quirky old man who says wise
Yeah,
things sometimes. Yay.
and and just, I mean, by the end, you can, even as a kid, you can see that there's so much more to Iroh going on. But as an adult and having already watched it from the beginning, you can just see like all of the inner workings. You can pick up on the hints at backstory
Hmm.
and how this is like, oh, this is a very complex human being, and honestly, like, kind of relatable.
Yeah.
He is speaking to my life.
He's such a great character. I mean, again, they all are. I can't think of a
Yeah,
single bad character who's in more than like an episode.
yeah,
Um, yeah, just so much depth, and like I love like you know like you mentioned all the little hints of backstory and like how they always talk, the Dragon of the West and your infamous failure at Bossing Say before you even know what happened, before
yeah.
like it's just there's so much great lore and world building that's just for always present. And then like on the episode where Aang first has his first encounter with the spirit world with the Heibai,
Hmm.
and he's on Roku's dragon, and that's also the episode that Iroh got kidnapped by those Earth Kingdom
Yeah, yeah.
soldiers, and like the dragon flies by, and I was like, "The fuck?" Because like you're like, "What? Iroh could see it? What?" Because I don't think they'd mentioned his trek to the spirit world yet at that point,
Yeah.
and like there's just all these little details all just strewn throughout. It's fucking great. But yeah, Iroh's great, Zuko's great. I everything season 2 is perfect television.
Oh yeah.
Like there's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
couple of episodes here and there in book 1, and honestly for
Well,
me book 3 also has some kind of hit or
mhm.
misses. Uh Again, just in terms of comparatively to the rest of the show, because the rest of the show is so great, like by any other
Mhm.
show standards they'd be fine. Uh but season 2 is pretty much a perfect season.
Yeah.
I It's flawless.
Season two is just so straightforward. It is so streamlined. Of one episode pretty much leans right into the next, and it is one cohesive narrative.
Yeah. And it always throws me off how late into the show Toph is introduced.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, cause she
She
feels like
she
she's there the
feels like
whole
an
time.
integral character.
She
Well, and
is. Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, but that's something that's another thing that makes watching book one so strange. Is
Toph
it
isn't there.
just it's just Aang, Sokka, and Katara, and the team feels incomplete
Hmm. It's
without.
fun fact though. Do you remember the fortune telling episode?
Yeah,
The girl who plays the little girl.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
That's
know
the
what you're
same
talking
voice
about.
actress as Toph.
Really?
Yeah, they
Huh.
they hired her to play. I think Mang or something like that was her name. Yeah,
Yeah.
they hired her to play her. They fell in love with the voice actress and said, "Hey, we have this other important character coming up. Do you want to voice her too?"
Well, it always surprised me that Mang never came back.
She's busy
Because
playing tough.
yeah, because it definitely felt like they were setting her up to be another sort of like Haru or
Mhm.
the
Jet.
no the disabled kid, the one
Oh,
whose dad was an inventor.
yeah, I'm blanking on his name.
But yeah, yeah, just sort of another sort of
Recurring, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
Um,
it honestly just might have been because they recruited her for Toph and they didn't want to have
yeah,
both characters active.
very possible. I adore the that just got me thinking about when they all go to the Western Air Temple. I loved just the concept of an entire upside down city, and
Yeah,
then just like checking out the tunnels and ruins and stuff like that.
yeah. I will say I was a little sad that like they kept all those characters like after the invasion.
And they didn't
They
do a lot with them.
yeah, they were just kind of there. They're like, all right, so we kept all the kids with us. Cool. All right, Toodaloo, Zuko's coming. We have character development to
Yeah,
do.
I think just what happened there is maybe they added them on there like they were gonna do some more stories with them, and they just realized, oh, we don't have a lot of episodes left. We kind of gotta
Yeah,
blitz through this.
because that's the thing is like, I mean,
Uh,
even Zuko only
yeah,
had a few episodes
well,
with the team as like on their side.
yeah, that's something that really surprised me when I did the rewatch was I had forgotten Zuko's only on their team for like 7
7 episodes, maybe.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like he was there for a lot longer of season three than he actually was. He spends more time as a respected member of the Fire Nation than he does as a member of Team Avatar in
Yeah,
season three. Well, I
yeah.
mean, yeah,
Because I mean, yeah, the invasion was the halfway through the season, and then he spends a couple episodes trying to befriend them.
yeah,
Yeah, but I do like that after that point though. You could say it feels a little like heavy on the end, but like
yeah,
every episode Zuko's involved in after that point.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so I think that's really good. But like what would you say? Could you think of a favorite episode? That's a tough question. If you want to rattle off a few, that's totally fair.
Honestly, probably not. I definitely a lot of the Bossing Say ones
Oh yeah.
really hit hard. But there was one. I don't. I wouldn't even necessarily say this was even close to one of my favorites. But the Avatar Roku one, the one where it taught like, oh, the Avatar and the Fire Lord,
Mhm.
that one just really really hits hard for some reason.
Oh, and then
Um,
also like that random, not random, but like that plot twist that yeah, Zuko, Avatar wrote your other grandfather.
yeah,
So
yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
Sozin was my grandfather. I looked up all about him. I didn't find anything. You got two parents, kiddo. It's like, Jesus, what?
Wow, doing this rewatch was such a weird experience for me because I would I, I just remembering how much I remembered from watching it as a kid. Like I watched it from the very first episode. I remembered them
Mhm.
doing a lot of marketing for it on Nickelodeon, and
Yeah.
I thought it was just going to be a movie. So I was very surprised when it ended after just an hour because it was a double feature,
Mhm.
and I was like, wait, that's a really strange way to end a movie. Oh, it's gonna be a series. And just being able to rewatch it now, it was like I would within the first 30 seconds of an episode starting, I would remember everything else that happened during that episode. I remember every detail about it, and it still always felt fresh and exciting.
Yeah. There's not a lot of shows I can rewatch because I usually get bored
Yeah.
partway through. I'm like, oh, I love this show, and then I'll start it and I'll give up on it. But like I have consistently been able to finish almost all of my watch throughs of the show just because like it's an easy watch, but still has all these complex themes. Like it's easy to get into while still having so much depth and substance, and
Yeah.
it's great. Wonderful show. I love. I mean, like I said, all the Bossing Stay stuff is amazing. Like it's fucking brainwashing and political corruption and just amazing stuff. I always really liked Sokka's Master in season 3.
Hmm.
Like you could say it's a filler episode, but like it, I love Sokka. He was my favorite as a kid. He's still probably up there for me for sure. As he's definitely, it's either him or Iroh are probably my favorites. But like I just seeing him finally get like kind of a power boost in a way when everyone else is like, Tough is a fucking metal bender at that point. Like, and Sokka's just still rolling around with a boomerang. It's like, thank you for giving him something. I will say Sokka also, I feel like his growth gets kind of overlooked.
Yeah.
He was kind of a shitbag at first.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like he was a straight up sexist.
That is what caused the Avatar to be unleashed.
Yeah, Sokka's sexism saved the world. His real power wasn't the boomerang; it was his sexism all along. But yeah, no, he started really shitty, and then like he was just an asshole. Like funny, but like.
Well, I remember really not liking Sokka when I first started, and by the end, he's one of the best characters. They're all one of the best characters.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all great.
Like
I definitely and I remember, and I mean this is just kind of from a very childlike standpoint. I always remember thinking that like, oh, Sokka when I first started watching, oh, Sokka's lame because he's not a bender. He's not special, but he really is so integral to the team.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot watch the series without like caring about him and every other member of the team.
They do a really good job of balancing it out because like I mean like they like by the time you get to Sokka's Master, they kind of be like Sokka's like self-conscious because I don't have bending, but you don't really, up until they called it out, you honestly didn't even think about it. Like, oh yeah, he doesn't have bending, but like he consistently had all the strategies. He consistently was able to fight and prove himself as a warrior. He, comedy-wise, he was the best. Cactus Juice is still one of my favorite moments in the whole series.
It's the quenchiest.
It's the quenchiest. Another great moment in the show is in the episode where we meet Haru, where they try and fake earthbending.
Yeah.
The guy's just like, the lemur. He's earthbending. Oh, you idiots! It's the girl. Oh.
Oh, that one is that was probably the first time in my rewatch that I can tell you I laughed out loud.
Oh yeah, I literally anytime I get to that, and like again, I've seen this show a million fucking times. Every time that scene comes on, I'm dying laughing out loud. It's just some great comedy. Like this show balances drama and comedy so well, well. Because like that same episode is about like a concentration camp essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, it's one of the funniest moments in the whole damn show. Like, goddamn. It's crazy, man. Also, the cabbage merchant is classic.
Yeah, very strong. My cabbages.
Not my cabbages. Just amazing stuff all around. Toph is great. Love her to death. She's so sassy. She's great.
Yeah.
I would say I think if I had to pick a least favorite character, again, they're all amazing. They're all great. I'd probably have to say Aang. Honestly, I think Aang would probably be my least favorite.
Hmm.
Like he's great, but like I don't know.
I
Like
I don't know who I'd say. I think I distinctly, I don't know, because I feel like I've always really liked Katara, because I've always really liked waterbenders,
she has
but
some moments that are
I,
like,
yeah, I've never really vibe with like the sort of the characters in shows that are like the mom friend who are
mhm,
like very sort of matronly, but also like really lame and killjoys. Uh,
yeah.
so
I also don't remember that. Don't forget the time that she
she
joked on
she
Top's
she
blindness.
was so
Hey,
that she was so actively ableist, and we
stars sure
completely
are
like
pretty. Wouldn't it be great if you could see
just
them
see
talk?
that.
Like, holy shit!
Ah,
Goddamn! What? Katara! Yikes! Like I didn't like when I was a kid. I was like, oh man, what a burn. But then as an adult, I'm like, what the fuck? Like it's funny, but also not. But also it is. But also not.
yikes!
Oh man! Like holy shit! She was not. She went
Not
all.
playing around.
She went all out. Goddamn. But yeah. Let's see. Amazing stuff. Tales of Bossing Say. I thought was just gonna be a dumb filler episode. It's the closest I came to crying. When Iroh's bit.
Oh yeah, gosh. I mean, Iroh's short in the Tales of Bossing Say
Gut
is,
punch, man.
I would say, the most powerful moment in the whole show. The only thing I would say that comes close to Iroh's bit in there is the very next episode, Appa's Lost Days. Well, it's neat watching the series as an adult because you see all these parallels that you or like you see all these references to movies that you wouldn't that I wouldn't have known if I hadn't been able to see a bunch of movies since I was a kid. Like the episode with Jong Jong,
Mhm.
um, what is it?
It's the Deserter is the name of the
The
episode.
Deserter.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's so many parallels between Apocalypse Now,
Yeah.
where you have this old soldier who has defected and just gone off to lead his followers in the woods, and the his right hand man going on to Team Avatar and talking up about how much of a visionary he is pretty much ripped straight out of Apocalypse Now, with the American reporter being like, Marlon Brando, oh my gosh, he's a visionary. He gets it, man. And then Zuko alone, which great episode.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love how an entire section of a season in a series based entirely around like East Asian culture, it just devotes a part of a season to a Western theme and doing a bunch of Western stuff.
Mhm.
Because Zuko alone has a lot of bits, but it's very much Shane. You have this loner roll into town, and you don't really know his past, but he comes in and he helps the family. He helps the dad build the shed, and he gives the son some good life advice.
Mhm.
Oh, and then oh shoot, what's the episode where Azula, Aang, and Zuko all run into each other in that ghost town?
That's like that's the chase.
The chase, yeah. That I mean, there's a lot of parts of the chase that are
It's also when
that
Guitar was
have
ableist.
yeah that have Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid just being chased by the people the entire episode. But the end is so the good, the bad, and the ugly. You just have these three forces that are not willing to bend to any of the others, and they essentially have a Mexican standoff in a ghost town.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, just that the rich storytelling canon that the writers were pulling from.
Oh yeah. I can't wait for the live action series. Because it's the same
Okay.
the creators
Yeah,
came back for it, and I really hope it's good because
I'm
I
really hoping
need
to.
this franchise to be a big old franchise. Because
Yeah.
like fucking Last Airbender fucking ruined the whole fucking thing for us. Like we could have had like
Yeah.
instead of what's your Harry Potter house, we could have all these like what kind of bender are you quizzes, but no,
Yep.
fucking M Night Shyamalan. God, have you seen
Woof.
Last Airbender?
Oh yeah. I watched it in theaters.
Oh,
That
see,
was
I didn't do that. Like I wanted to see it real bad, but that was at the time I didn't really go to the theaters often, and then by the time I was able to, I had heard it was terrible, so I was like,
yeah.
okay, I guess not. And then my dad had watched it, and he was like, "Oh, you like this show, right? I saw the movie; it was pretty good. You should watch it with me." And then I watched it with him, and it was very bad, very very bad. Like, goddamn, man, it's
We
like
we we, we let's not get into that movie because
I mean, unfortunately, it exists.
yeah,
Unfortunately,
it's just so there is no there's no redeeming quality.
and that's the thing is like it's not even just a bad adaptation. Like if it was a bad
Yeah,
adaptation, like it would still suck, but at least like okay, you tried. Like at least,
yeah,
or maybe you tried to give it your own spin to it or something. But it doesn't even work fundamentally as a film. Like even
hmm
by just from a film standpoint, nothing makes sense. Why would you put all these earthbenders in a prison, quote unquote, that's just outdoors?
yep.
They're just they're just outdoors. Like that defeats the whole point. That was the entire point. Was that you put them somewhere that they couldn't earthbend.
You gotta kill their spirit
How did they do that? They didn't show how they would have done
so
that.
we can pick up the tiny little rock and shoot him at
When there's 8 guys going ooh 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 ooh, and then a little tiny rock flies by.
and the firebenders can't even make their own fire. They need to that's isn't I think that's what Zhao said Sozin's comet would do in the movie universe is
Is it
firebenders would be
really?
able to make their own fire. I'm like they could do that in the original series.
Uh,
Uh,
my
but yeah.
goddamn! How do you fuck it up that bad, man? Like I can make a better movie with a $20 budget and some lighters. Like,
Yep.
give me a
Uh,
fucking Zippo and $20 in the camera. I'll give you a better movie. God damn. And then I haven't finished Korra.
I
Last one
only
was
watched a
okay.
couple episodes of Korra. I want to.
I know it has a lot of really big fans. I'm not anti Korra by any means. I had a really hard time getting into it. Someday I'll
Yeah.
finish it. I'm sure I will. But I season one was rough for me to get through.
Yeah.
It's kind of a similar case of like the couple of quote unquote bad episodes from Avatar. Like if Legend of Korra was just its own thing, I think I would have been like, okay, this is fine, this is good. But the fact that you went from basically perfect storytelling to a decent show, but it's in the same universe and it's connected and stuff. Just that dip in quality, just it felt steeper just because it was connected to something so good. Like
Yep.
it's still a good show, I'd say. I, I went in with the expectations of the original, so the contrast felt a lot more steep than it would have if it was its own thing.
Yeah.
So someday I'll finish Korra. But
Someday.
yeah, amazing show. We could talk about this for a million years. Are there any other closing statements on Avatar?
That's all I got. I am
Suki's great.
pro
I
Avatar.
love Suki.
Oh yeah,
Suki's
yeah.
great. Suki and May were my crushes as a kid.
Suki was definitely my dream girl.
Oh, I fucking love Suki, man. And
Yeah.
May too, because I love emo chicks. May's
Oh yeah.
great. Uh,
I really liked Ty Lee too.
seemed like
And
you like Tyler.
I did really like May, but Suki was definitely the one I was in love with as a little kid.
Yeah, Suki and May, and then yeah,
Which I it's so weird watching it and realizing, oh, Suki was only in like 8 episodes in the
yeah.
entire series.
But she's such a major, like she's so
Yeah.
memorable, and she's so
Oh yeah.
like she's her own character. She's not just Sokka's love interest. She's
Yeah.
Suki.
Yeah.
And like everyone loves Suki. Everyone has a relationship with Suki, even though obviously Sokka has the strongest relationship with her. But like everyone's like, oh yeah, Suki, what's up? I love the moment in the Serpent's Pass when I guess Toph randomly had a crush on Sokka, and like Toph falls in the
Yeah.
water, and she's
But
like, "Oh, Sokka, you saved me!" And Suki's like, "Hi, Toph.
that
All right,
that
you can let me drown now."
that's so yeah, the Toph crush on Sokka is very interesting because it's not just an isolated incident. Like it comes up a couple of times,
Hmm.
but it's always so brief and so sort of invisible that you just kind of
Honestly, it felt realistic to me. Like,
yeah, yeah.
just like she's like, it's like, oh, he's cute, like cool. He seems like a
Now
fun guy, and then like, but nothing's gonna go anywhere. But like, all right, but every now and then like, she also seemed like she almost had a crush on Zuko towards the end too.
yeah. I definitely on my as a kid I took it for granted because I also didn't really know what romance was, but
Do any of us
like
ever?
I mean touche. But
What is love, baby? Don't
you
hurt me.
know,
Don't hurt me no more.
honestly, Suki falling in love with Zuko, I mean not Zuko, Sokka surprised me because there doesn't really seem to be any context for it. Like Sokka is a dick to her on Kyoshi Island and eventually kind of like ends up showing off, but he's still just kind of
I mean,
a
even
dick.
in that episode, he has a lot of growth. Like that's where we really see
Yeah.
the brunt of his sexism,
Oh yeah.
and then also he sees the brunt of it. Where
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, "Well, maybe I have been
And
a dick,"
then
and then like
the
he
the
acknowledges it, and
very
like he,
yeah. And then like the very next episode that Suki shows up with is like a year later and then she's all in flirting and crushing with him.
I mean, I think because like I mean, you have to look at it as like we don't know exactly how long they stayed on Kyoshi Island. Like it was implied it was a good little bit. Um, so it could have been several days to a couple
Well,
weeks at least.
and you know that's fair. I'm just saying it in this rewatch it felt weird. Like it definitely felt like that was definitely one of the weaker things that I saw.
Honestly, I don't think so. I think it works because like you have to
I
keep
don't.
in mind,
Well,
like I mean, they already had that established connection.
the next time you do a rewatch, just
Okay, well, hear me out,
look at
because like, okay, so like they have that bond, they have that at the very least friendship, and there clearly is some kind of
Philip. You
attraction.
can argue this with me, but I mean like I am really saying I'm telling you it comes off weird. This isn't
I've
like
seen
something
it
you
like 10 times.
explain
Like
to
I've
me.
seen the show, like,
Yeah, I'm just I'm just saying.
and like she wasn't like she was flirting with any other guys the entire time. She was an all-girl warrior unit.
Hmm.
I think it's fine. I think you're overthinking it.
I'm saying it's weird.
I'm saying it's not. Say in the comments below, what do you think about Suki and Sokka's relationship? Weird or not? You tell us.
But overall, yeah, definitely pro Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Agreed.
without a doubt.
A phenomenal show. as we said at the beginning, quite possibly one of the best. It is one of the best shows of all time.
Yeah.
Quite possibly the
Well,
best.
I was making a list the other day of shows that I thought were my favorite shows, or like the best shows I had ever seen,
Mhm.
and it definitely made the list.
Like even every other show I can think of, where I'm like, that is a great show. I can always find something wrong or like less than. Like I mean, Breaking Bad, it's either season 2 or 3 is kind of weak. Whichever one had the twins. If you've seen Breaking Bad, you know what I'm talking about, and you probably agree. That like that season was really weak. Black Sails, great show, but season 4 was a little rushed because they had to shove 2 story arcs into the last season because they weren't given a 5th season. So like still great storytelling, but it felt a little rushed at the end.
Now, Game of Thrones,
Shut
that
up.
was flawless till the
Shut
end.
up.
I just
No, that's
I
not
don't think
good. You
there
haven't seen
was
the
a
show.
more like there I don't think there's been a show like other than Game of Thrones that has gotten every single thing right. And I've seen like one
Trolling.
episode of Game of Thrones. I
That's
I
trolling.
just don't. Yeah,
Hey, seasons 5, 7, and 8 of Game of Thrones. Garbage.
are great.
Yeah,
My
garbage.
favorite seasons.
Of
My
course, of
literally my
course they
favorite
are. Of
seasons.
course they are. I believe that. You would. You would be like, you know what? Season 8's my favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, but Avatar is from beginning to end. It never hits a dip in quality. Even the couple of episodes here and there, like they're just one-off episodes. A and then B, like they still aren't really bad. They're just less amazing than the amazing things around it. So phenomenal show. Highly recommended if you somehow haven't watched it. Also, you just listened to us blab on for like 40 minutes about it, so you've had it all
Yeah.
spoiled now. So just fucking watch it, get it over with.
Boom.
Great show. All right. Do you have a surprise for me,
Heck
Seth?
yeah. I do. I do have a surprise
Are
for
you
you.
about to hurt me?
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
it's rough because I don't have. Shut Stop it! Don't do that. Ah. Yeah. So what Philip just watched was the link will be posted below, but it was a condensed version of a Warner Brothers Merry Melody I Love to Singa with an a young owl uh
Owl
who
Johnson.
Owl Jolson, which is
Oh,
a
Jolson.
play on Al Jolson,
Ah,
who's an old singer. You know, who's singing and living his dream, and you should watch it in the link below. But yeah, I remember I watched that. I saw a clip of it in something a few years back, and watched it, and then every couple of years that tune will get stuck in my head.
I was wondering why. Like, it was very random that you busted out a merry melody or out of nowhere. Like,
Yeah,
like it's good. Like I've seen that as a kid.
yeah.
Because I used to watch a bunch of like Warner Bros. And Disney shorts. It's good. Yeah, yeah. Was it just in your head recently, or?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it was in my head, and then I've been listening to the Al Jolson and there's one version where it's Al Jolson and Cab Calloway, and like if I remember correctly, it was a big deal when they did that their performances together because back then in I guess it was the 30s. Cab Calloway was given like lesser praise or lesser accommodations because he was black, and Al Jolson had to fight tooth and nail for him to be able to be honored in any of their performances.
Hmm,
But
gotcha.
yeah, no, it's a neat little ditty. It's a nice story of like it's very much along that sort of trope of dad wants his son to do this thing and son wants to do it another way, and when the dad finally sees how good the son is, he's like, no son, go live your dreams.
Oh man, I wish someone would say that to me.
Philip, you can do it, you're good, live your
Oh,
dreams.
thanks, Dad. But yeah, no, like it was sweet. Like, and yeah, this is a condensed version of the short, but like I've seen the whole short before. It's just been probably at least a decade. Because like when I started watching, I was like, this is really familiar. And then like I kept watching, I was like, yeah, no, I've definitely seen this. 'Cause, yeah, like I said, I used to watch a bunch of those shorts when I was a kid. Like I loved them.
No.
The Warner Bros. And Disney shorts are just both great. Like I feel like the shorts don't get enough credit,
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
especially the ones that like aren't Mickey Mouse or aren't the Looney Tunes themselves.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's some good
Well, and
ones there.
I mean that you kind of, because of just the big franchises that have come from them, you forget that's where a lot of the big characters came from. Mickey Mouse was just a short
Yeah, Steamboat
and
Willie.
ended up blowing
Well,
up.
yeah, well, yeah, the whole fucking world about him and land,
Yeah.
several across the globe. Um, yeah, it's weird thinking how big like Mickey Mouse is just from like a couple of shorts back in the what 30s. When was that? When the first Steamboat Willie short was?
1928.
28. Okay,
Yeah.
it was close. I feel like I should know that given I fucking worked there for a year, but
Well, and I think something else that's neat about this sort of short is because because it's a trope, it it it's the fact that a story and something we can be so used to nowadays was still so present and applicable back in the 30s is that sort of media and content is very much affirming in a sort of way of like, oh, our society isn't there is nothing new under the sun, everything repeats itself.
yeah. Well, I also
um,
like to look at it kind of as a we all have to deal with this shit. Like it's not
yeah,
like it makes the world feel a little less lonely that like
yeah,
we all have this shit or like even if we don't specifically, we've seen it, we've felt it to some degree in some fashion or seen a close friend go through it. Like
yeah.
it's very universal, and the fact that like you can still watch a short like that and still be like, oh yeah, like my parents were like that, or like, oh yeah, so and so, like,
Yeah,
and then plus it's a catchy little tune, but it
yeah, yeah.
just it sticks with you, and like it has a nice little moral and a nice happy ending, and feels good, and like you can show that to your kids now, and
Well,
that it'll be fine because it's a timeless thing.
and I mean, isn't that kind of why we make art? I mean, to one extent, we make art to entertain, but also, I mean, it is a time capsule. You are capturing thoughts and feelings and experiences and preserving them for future generations to kind of give that continuity of spirit, that continuity of society.
Yeah, I mean art.
And I think that there's something very very powerful in that.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I mean art is the closest thing to immortality that people can obtain because it's something that like even if it like like I mean I couldn't tell you anyone who worked on that short,
Yeah,
but the short like the every single person who did work on that put their heart and soul into it. So like even if you don't necessarily remember the names, I mean first off there's probably going to be records of their names somewhere anywhere if you really want to
yeah,
look it up,
yeah, yeah.
which is nice, but like there's still I feel like when an artist really puts their heart, their soul, their blood, their tears into a work, and especially animation. Animation is a thankless fucking job. Like
Oh
it's
yeah,
fucking tedious. There's so much work goes in animation, especially traditional animation. It's fucking tedious, time consuming. You're a short like that took at least hundreds of hours, probably thousands. There's so much time and energy, but like there's still there's a piece of you that goes into
Yeah.
that never dies even once
Well,
we're long gone. And that's that's
yeah.
what makes art so powerful to me, is like that's there's always a piece of everyone who worked on a project in any art, no matter what it is, a
Yeah.
film, a song, a fucking graffiti on a city wall, like anything. There's a piece of the person who made that there, and like that's something you can't take away.
Yeah. Well, and there's that saying that a person doesn't die when they stop breathing. A person dies when people stop saying their name. And I mean, anyone who had any part in making this, I'm sure, has passed away. But the art that they produced, the actions that they made, still survive, and through them, their impact in the world is
Yeah,
still felt.
yeah, and that's like yeah, exactly. There's a timelessness there, like that. They made something that, for all intents and purposes, unless like the world fucking blows up, which is possible. 2020 is a wild ride of a year. Um, like that's probably gonna be around forever, or at least as
Yeah.
much as humans can comprehend forever.
Yep.
Like the
Just think 90 years from now when people are listening to this very podcast.
we are the art. We're some assholes random third topic on
Exactly.
the
we
VR podcast or whatever.
I like to think so.
It's like, I found something neat for you today, future Philip. That's what they said. They just add a weird little accent and an A on the end of it.
Philippa?
Philip, Setha. That's the naming convention of the
Seth,
future.
yeah.
Setha and Philip.
In the future, if you don't have a name that ends in then you're weird, or like,
You're bullied and discriminated
yeah.
against, and society's against you, much like how society sucks now too.
Hey, fun fact, kids, did you know that 2020 sucked too? It's true. And it actually sucked a little more. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't want to speak comparatively to your experience, because who knows what happens 90 years from now.
yeah.
But
What's 90 years from now? That's 10, 20.
2130,
Yeah, yeah,
or
21. No, 2110,
no,
2110. Yeah,
2110.
we can't do math in 2020 either,
Correct.
future people. But yeah, listening, future people listening to us now, 2020 sucks ass. You're gonna read it in your history hollow novels, or whatever the fuck you guys have.
Your pieces of glass that you read
It's
books
just
off.
like it's a fucking monocle. It's just contact lenses, like that. Just,
It's actually streamlined directly into people's brains.
I mean, probably honestly, Bill Gates trying to give us those chips, right? Fuck yeah,
No.
ship me up, Bill. Add some dip to it.
Hashtag chip me up.
Hashtag chip me up, Bill. Can we get that trending? All three of you listening.
I want to get that on a t-shirt.
Chip me up, Bill. When are we gonna make T-shirts, man? We have chip me up, Bill. We have would you fucking elf?
We've made it to episode 6. I think it's time for us to
T-shirts. It's
start
time for merchandising.
franchising.
Yeah. Merchandising. It's where the real money from the podcast is made.
Exactly.
But yeah, art. It's timeless.
Art.
Good video. Also, just it's cute.
Yeah.
It's charming.
Yeah.
Honestly, like a lot of times those are the ones that I feel like it's one extreme or the other. It's either the really kind of wholesome, carefree things that really stand the test of time, or it's the really dark, edgy, like this is what life is like, the shit bit of it. Those are the two.
Like
that
Watchmen.
Really... Have you read Watchmen?
Yeah, no, I did not think I was going to read it, and I've ended up kind of blowing through it.
Oh, did you finish it?
I'm almost done.
Dude,
we can talk about that in a little bit.
Can that be next week's episode?
Yeah, sure.
You talk about Watchmen? Fuck yes.
Totally.
Dude, I fucking love Watchmen. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, talk about a testament of the time that's just dark and edgy and
yeah. Oh, dude, I love it's so dark, but I love it.
No,
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
let's talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later. Oh, I'm excited now. Um, but yeah, it's I mean, Schindler's List. I mean that's only the '90s, but like that's going to last
Oh yeah,
forever.
still haven't.
Um, you haven't seen Schindler's List?
No, I need to.
You do. God damn. I mean, to Kill a Mockingbird. Um,
Haven't seen that either.
Jesus Christ. Have you seen anything that's like
Seen Gone with the Wind.
God? Next week's episode. Last week's episode, actually. Remember last week when we talked about Gone with the Martian?
The Martian? You mean when we talked about The Martian?
Yeah, Gone with the Martian. Fuck. Tune in right now when we talk about Gone with the Wind. I mean, the Watchmen. The Watchmen.
Well,
But,
test of time.
yeah, I had a point and then I got fucking
Sorry.
sidetracked. But yeah, no, I feel like the ones that really last are like one extreme or the other. It's either like kind of the wholesome, like feel good, happy, because people always want to feel happy.
Yeah.
But then there's also the art that like is the brutal reality of like what the people were going through at the time. That also lasts as kind of like a historical piece.
Well, and even the bright poppy stuff, like that, there usually is something underlying there. Like even like Wizard of Oz was all about a commentary on the time, and it's I mean it's a good romp. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. And I mean, even like Disney movies, like the good ones at least, like usually deal with some harsh shit too. Like Lion King,
Yeah.
fucking Mufasa
Yeah.
dies, framed for murder, Simba
Yeah.
is, and like Aladdin, he's a fucking poor hobo man who has to lie his way to success.
My favorite Disney movie, Star Wars.
Yeah, The Last Jedi, where
God. You viewers in 90 years probably aren't gonna get that joke, but
in 90 years, Last
it's a good
Jedi is
one.
going to be everyone's favorite Star Wars movie.
That is objectively false.
Hey man, there's already a surgeons, man. We're us Last Jedi fans are culminating now. We're like, yeah, we fucking told you third one's gonna suck. Us Last Jedi fans are getting stronger. We're coming at you.
I am not going to dignify you with a response.
We're coming for you, man. We're coming for Star Wars. We're doing it. Us and Broom Boy with our brooms in hand.
Disgusting. Just
We're gonna clean up the franchise.
Disgusting.
Art's beautiful. Art's great. Art's powerful.
Art is not trash.
Last Jedi
like
is
Last
art.
Jedi.
Last Jedi is art. You might not like that. Should we have our big old debate on what counts as art?
No.
Should we bust that out?
Not right now.
Everything is art. Everything.
Everything.
This Coke can I'm drinking, the branding on it, the little, the fucking text, Coca-Cola.
Well, yeah.
Fucking art.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I hate when like people are like, oh, that's not art. Like that's like fucking like I love Scorsese, but when he's trying to say that like the Marvel movies aren't art, like yes, they're incredibly packaged and manufactured. It's still fucking art though.
Well, don't you know that there hasn't been any new art since the French Revolution? Because that's when people stopped viewing at the universe through the lens of God. No, we are not getting started on that. That's a reference to something a professor of mine said once, and
fucking
it pisses
dumb ass professor.
And we're not going to talk about it anymore.
Everything practically is art. That cabinet that your fucking carpenter friend made for you, he worked on it. There's artistry to it. That's fucking art. I trimmed up my beard real nice. Art.
Well,
it's real nice and you love it. Art. This podcast is art, technically.
It is art. The words I am saying right now are art.
It's performance art.
Yeah.
We're performing.
I'm a performer. I am a professional performer.
Yeah. Like you can say if you think art is good or bad. But overall, just about fucking everything is art. Your fucking t-shirt you're wearing right now, art.
Art.
Fucking art, man.
No.
We'll tune in next week when we talk about the art more. I have lots of
for one,
words to
am
say.
anti-art.
What career path are you trying to go down?
Art.
Yeah, I'm pro that video. I'm pro art.
Yeah, no, I am pro. I love to sing.
Da, 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 da.
Tune and springer. Love to sing about a sky, a blue, or a T4 to it, and away you wanna swing it, and I love you, I love to sing.
Beautiful.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. No.
Let's call it. I think that's a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate
Tune
you.
in next week for Watchmen.
What else? What pairs good with Watchmen? Because we should probably get this thing a little lighter because Watchmen is heavy.
Yes. Watchmen and Converse shoes.
I'm not. I don't know.
Dadgummit.
I do shoes in general.
No. Well, I suppose we could do shoes.
Just do shoes. Shoes.
Yeah.
That's our happy subject to pair with
Shoes.
Watchmen.
Shoes.
If we get the chance to set, because so Watchmen, we're talking about the graphic novel. So we're going to be talking about. If you get a chance to watch the movie, also Seth, we can also do that.
Okay.
I don't know if you'll get to or not, but
Gotcha.
the movie's pretty good too. The graphic novel's definitely better.
Yeah.
But the movie's good too. So at the very least, we're going to talk about the graphic novel.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, tune in next week for that, and then a special topic picked by Philip, which he absolutely will have prepared.
Seth will actually murder me if I put him through something like last week again.
It's true. I will.
Oh, it was great content, man. See, we're going to get a great shirt out of it.
Content. That's what this is about. Content. Pure, unadulterated, 100% clean Colombian content.
But would you fucking help? Thanks for listening.
Good night, everybody.
Love you. Bye.